good evening and welcome to Business Live. Coming up, financial analyst Christian Tichijan projects a further increase of bad loans as banks write off 1.3 billion cedis in the first 6 months of this year's bad debt.
We foresee it worsening because aside the conditions of COVID, that a lot of people were in lockdown, people were not opening their shops. We are in a dispensation now where cost of credit has also become very high.
Plus, energy expert Nana Amosi VII says Ghana has lost the opportunity to witness a reduction in the next pricing window.
The IES was equally expecting that for this window, we should see price reduction, quite significant, not marginal one, more than 5% reduction. That translates into almost 68 pesos per liter. Unfortunately, we have lost out on that opportunity.
And farmers should expect free fertilizer soon as Yara International invests $20 million in free distribution of the farm input.
We are also making sure that we are supporting the distribution chain and using the market systems approach. In order to ensure that the products will go to farmers, we are working in partnership with AFAP and other institutions.
My name is Beverly Broohm. Please stay for details. Now let's get started with our very first story for this evening. Banks wrote off 1.3 billion cedis in the first 6 months of this year as provision for bad debt. That's according to latest domestic money bank's income statement from the Bank of Ghana. The bad debt, which came as a result of loan losses, depreciation, amongst others, could worsen in the coming months following the rising cost of loans. Charles Nixon Yeboah has more.
The total bad debt as of June this year was 28.4% higher than the same period last year. This follows a strong rebound in credit growth as a result of easing in COVID-19 restriction. The growth in bad debt may continue if cost of borrowing continues to surge as a result of challenges facing the economy. According to the Bank of Ghana, notwithstanding the decline in the non-performing loans ratio, the increase in the stock of bad debt within the year indicated that asset quality risk persisted in the banking industry, but the decline in the industry's NPL ratio was most pronounced in the commerce and finance as well as mining and quarrying sectors, which recorded lower NPL ratios in June 2022. On the other hand, the agriculture, forestry and fishing, as well as the transport, storage and communication sectors recorded increases in their NPL ratios. Meanwhile, the NPL ratio for the construction sector remained the highest and was unchanged at 34.4%.
Meanwhile, financial analyst Christian Tichijan is projecting a further increase of bad loans on the books of banks due to current economic conditions, which have resulted in high interest rates.
We foresee it worsening because aside the conditions of COVID, that a lot of people were in lockdown, people were not opening their shops. We are in a dispensation now where cost of credit has also become very high, with T-bills now ranging around 28%. It's expected that loans will be pricing will be around 33, 34, in some instances even 35%. And once the cost of borrowing becomes higher, already the businesses are actually burdened with repayments of principals and loans. So once the cost of borrowing becomes higher, it's expected that it will have a telling effect on their repayments. And obviously, with the current fundamentals of the economy, with our dollar that is appreciating so strongly against the cedi, people who do imports, once the products actually come or hit the market, then it becomes quite difficult in trying to match the cost price. So there will definitely be a higher amount being placed on it in terms of the margins that is making the goods get expensive. Once goods get expensive, it is natural that consumers might shy away from consuming in the first place. And so it becomes obvious that there's going to be some of these happenings where people will not be able to repay their loan.
Now, the Bank of Ghana has ruled out reports of fuel shortage due to the lack of dollar support to finance oil imports. It follows a warning by former Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Petroleum Authority, Alex Mould. The country is struggling to import fuel because of the current currency issues. George Riafe has been following this and has filed this report.
Mr. Alex Mould, in a statement, maintained that the local banks do not have enough forex cover to support imports or meet their trading partners' needs. This might make it difficult to finance imports from October this year. But the Bank of Ghana has maintained that with its forex auction as well as other liquidity support, the country wouldn't get to this crisis moment. The Bank of Ghana maintains that with the 750 million Afri-Exim facility that should hit its account in the coming days, that will help with market confidence to deal with the current speculations that is also contributing to the cedi's depreciation. The regulator asked that these measures, including commencing discussions with the IMF for a program from next month and the cocoa loan syndication that should come in from October this year, all these measures should help stabilize the Ghana cedi in the last quarter of this year. That could ensure that the current challenge with dollar supply is addressed. Meanwhile, some of the commercial banks have told Joy Business that for now they have started taking local currencies instead of dollars as a payment cover for crude oil importation, instead of restricting themselves to foreign currencies. They maintain that they see this as a short-term measure to help deal with the current challenge.
Meanwhile, Executive Director of the Institute for Energy Security, Nana Amwesi II, says Ghana has lost the opportunity to witness a reduction in the next pricing window due to the depreciating cedi. He spoke on the marketplace.
The IES was equally expecting that for this window, we should see price reduction quite significant, not marginal one, more than 5% reduction. That translates into almost 68 pesos per liter. Unfortunately, we have lost out on that opportunity. The opportunity that was granted to us as Ghanaians is that international price of crude fell, the price of diesel on the international markets dropped by about 7%, that of gasoline dropped by 8.5% thereabouts. If you look at this, it could translate into a reduction in the local market by roughly 5%. But unfortunately, we saw the cedi decline in value against the US dollar, the currency that the BDCs use to import the products. And the depreciation was quite huge, 5.5%. This kind of eroded all the expected gains from the international market. So the forex losses is what has made us lose out on this opportunity. Compared to what the US citizens are enjoying today, they've seen a little fuel drop by close to $1 because international prices bode well for them, and their own currency was also strengthened against other indicators. But we have lost out on the opportunity because of the forex losses.
Let's get on Zoom now and speak to Mohammed Abdul Kudus, who is the Communications Manager at the National Petroleum Authority, for more updates on the petroleum situation in the country. Hello, sir. Thank you so much for your time. From where you are sitting, what do we have? Do we have enough supply of product?
Thank you very much, and good evening to your cherished and wonderful viewers. Yes, depending on what you would define as enough, From our end, we are more into ensuring a regular supply of the product. And by our timetable and the schedule that we have actually put together, we are on course and things are not looking that scary. We can guarantee that there is enough product in the system, and consumers should not have any cause for worry at all.
That was definitely going to be my next question, whether consumers should be worried or not. But what measures are in place to ensure that supplies is not affected? Because the warning here is that imports will be affected because of limited dollar support.
Obviously, I would not be able to speak in the angle of the supply of forex, because that is not what we do at MPA. But what I spoke about earlier, we normally have the schedule, okay, that so this BDC, A, BDC, B, BDC is given the license and permit to bring a certain amount of stock for any kind of petroleum product that we're looking at. And as we speak currently, we have at least a minimum of 1 month stock of the major product that we use. And there are equally vessels that are online to replenish as and when the stock run out. So per our plan, and to really guarantee a regular and constant supply of fuel into the system, we are on course and there's no cause for alarm at all.
I mean, we are all expecting an increase in prices of petroleum products from tomorrow. Hope we are all on the same page.
Regrettably, I will not be able to speak to that because we at NPA do not dabble into the speculation and we don't want to meddle into the price determination. As you are aware, it is a deregulated market, and different OMC is informed by different ingredients in arriving at the cost of the product. What we do is to ensure that everybody is playing to the game and nobody is taking advantage of the customer. So our regulatory responsibility is to ensure fair play at all times for the consumer and the supplier. So to speak about the possible increases, I will not be able to directly speak to that. That is why we have regularly give out the information for the public to also be able to follow and at all times be making intelligent guesses as to the direction of prices. So regularly we publish the indicative prices that shows us the cost of the product on the international market, the cost of the forex, and our formula has not changed for a long time now. So to be able to determine that will not be too difficult for anybody who would probably want to do the equation himself, but we at NPA don't want to meddle or dabble in the speculation or attempted determination of prices because that is not our mandate.
Thank you so much. Abdul Kudus is the communications manager for MPA. We'll go for a quick break. We'll be right back with more. Please stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now to some other stories. Now, the managing director of Yara Ghana, Dankwa Adoyobo, is optimistic distribution of $20 million worth of free fertilizer to farmers would help boost production and ensure food security. The initiative is considered a mitigating factor to challenges farmers have endured for more than a year in accessing fertilizer. Dankwa Adoyobo was speaking at the launch of Yara's Grow Ghana project in Tema. Our correspondent Kwame Yanka has more in the following report.
Yara International has committed $20 million to produce free fertilizer for farmers in Ghana. About 100,000 smallholder farmers with farms up to 5 hectares would benefit from the distribution of 360,000 bags of fertilizers. This is expected to boost production of cereals up to about 500,000 metric tons. According to Managing Director of Yara Ghana, Dankwa Adoyobo, the Grow Ghana initiative is playing a part in ensuring the country's food security.
We expect that we would reach at least 100,000 smallholder farmers in the process. We expect that the package exercise that we're doing with the initiative will support food production of more than 500,000 metric tons of cereals, for instance. We are also working with a lot of retailers and distributors in the process. We have selected about 115 retailers and distributors to start with, and I believe the number will grow at a point. So we are also making sure that we are supporting the distribution chain and using the market systems approach. In order to ensure that the products will go to farmers, we are working in partnership with AFAP and other institutions. AFAP is our key implementation partner. They are going to help us on the ground to ensure that the plans we have and the execution is done. They will have people in the retail shops to help monitor the process. We have also put in place an IT tool, an IT platform that will ensure that we are having data and visibility over the distribution.
Agric Minister Dr. Ifriya Koto was grateful and says the donation of fertilizer couldn't have come at a better time.
And in many areas, you can't even get fertilizer to buy because of the sheer shortage. So the intervention, the donation by the Yara International and Yara Ghana to bring to our farmers 20,000 metric tons of NPK is no mean donation. It is significant psychologically, physically to our farmers. And on behalf of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and the government of Ghana, I want to show our appreciation to Yara for such a donation. And it's very timely because now it's raining all over the place. Farmers are very busy both in the northern Savannah, in the forest region, and this is the time for the application of fertilizer, so it couldn't have come at a better time.
Nanaisha Mohammed is the West African Implementation Lead and Ghana Country Manager for African Fertilizer Agribusiness Partnership, AFAP, which is implementing the initiative.
Our support is not going to just only be the monitoring and tracking. We're also going to be providing capacity building for farmers and also ensuring that farmers use the product adequately in the right way to also ensure that they do have the right productivity at the end of the day. This for AFAB is as part of our broad response as well. And this is not just going to be done in Ghana. We have the same similar initiative being launched in other countries under, as Dankwa said, the Sustain Africa initiative. And we hope that this would just be just one of the other many responses that are going to be implemented to ensure the farmers do benefit from the support.
Another partner in the initiative, USAID, believes working together would help achieve goal of the project. Amber Lily Kenny is the Acting Director of Economic Growth, USAID.
So USAID is supporting AGRA and AFAP to ensure that the Yara fertilizer gets to farmers in areas that are most fertilizer deficient. Smallholder farmers are having a very hard time accessing fertilizer. We are concerned about the effects on food security, and we want to be able to help mitigate that.
Meanwhile,
the National Film Authority says the fast depreciation rate of the city, which has contributed to increasing cost of input for production. According to the commercial director of Jata Cement, Edmund Eduse, most local manufacturers are not in the best position to absorb input cost for production, but rather pass it on to consumers. He spoke to Joy Business and the Ghana Business Standards Awards.
According to Mr. Eduse, manufacturers are still pushing government to take a second look at the taxes on the input and charges at Ghana's port. He said it has been very difficult for manufacturers to absorb all the rising cost of operations, and there is the need to share some of the burden with consumers.
Yes, as I said, most of our inputs are imported. About 90% of our inputs are all imported. So obviously, when it goes up, then you need a lot more CD to import the things that you were importing previously. And when your cost of production goes up, then obviously you also have to go up to make up and be able to sustain your business. We try as much as possible because we all know that what is affecting the economy, so we don't add up to it. But it gets to a point as a business, you don't have any choice but to go up. But
also, some players within the agribusiness space called for stabilization of the cedi. According to General Manager at Agro Farms Enterprise, Augustine Asari, measures should be swiftly put in place to save Ghanaian businesses.
The inflation rate too is also affecting it. So that is a big problem for us. Because of that, we cannot buy in bulk. Even if we can afford 5 boxes, now because prices are on the rise, we can't do that. So it is a major problem for us.
The Ghana Business Standards Award seeks to celebrate organizations committed to remarkable business standards in their sectors and industry leaders, breaking barriers of excellence across the Ghanaian business region and the world at large.
And that's all for Business Live here on the Joy News channel. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Beverly Broohm. You can find more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Enjoy the rest of our programs.